Welcome back, everyone. It's like we just had a lot of you here, but we're here tonight for another Link to the Past NMG tournament race. Got Tourney Organizer versus Tourney Organizer tonight. Duck versus Buane. Joined by Foxlists and JP on comms. How are you two doing?
Hey, doing good.
Yep, doing all right. This is going to be a fun one tonight.
Yeah, this should be a good...
I will get this race started and hand it over to the two of you.
Yeah, welcome everyone. This should be a good race. As I mentioned, as our restreamer mentioned, I mean, these guys are both admins for the tourney. It should be pretty cool. Buane has definitely the better PB here, but anything can definitely happen in one of these races. A lot could go wrong. Duck also hasn't been playing, or took kind of a long break, but has been playing more recently, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him put up really good times. Duck, of course, if anything goes wrong, he is the complaints department for the tournament, so direct any complaints to him.
So we should be underway any second now. I think just there we go. So first section, of course, we got some text mashing.
Yep. There's a lot of text mashing in this game. Unfortunately, kind of one of the boring parts of the game. Then after that, we get off to the escape, which is not everyone's favorite part of the race, but it sort of pushes your fundamentals. You'll see better players get better times here, not by a lot of seconds, but very consistently. It really forces you to work on your movement, your entering doors, lining up with things, cutting corners cleanly, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a good opening section to focus on some of those little techniques, as you mentioned, just little things that'll shave off a couple frames here and there, but that can easily add up. I know you'll see with some runners, the difference between a 550 and a 6 minute is just those frames adding up.
Yeah, for sure. And like those 10 seconds aren't going to make or break your run, but the kind of player who can gain 10 seconds just on movement fundamentals in the first segment, that's a strong sign that a runner is really good at the fundamentals of the game, which will continue paying off throughout. Oh, we see Buane here memeing it up a little bit, going to the right. It does not matter which direction you go through these rooms, except that it's sort of mechanically harder to pump if you go right, because you have to sort of cross your thumb over on the D-pad, but it doesn't actually lose any time.
Just give me a little fun, doing something a little different.
Yeah, you love to see it. You love to see people having fun in their races. Duck walking straight into a soldier. You want to move down there just a little bit and then start cutting the diagonal so that you get as much diagonal movement as possible, because diagonal movement is really fast. Duck just didn't take quite a long enough step down before he started cutting the diagonal, so he got. Picking up our boomerang here. Boomerang is not the most exciting item in the game. We use it here and there for small things. It also allows us to get 300 rupees later, which is... I don't actually know, I've never timed it out, but I bet that it saves you more time by letting you get those 300 rupees than anything else.
Yep, the reference there is in Village of Outcasts, right after Thieves' Town. There's 2 300 chests we get. I believe one of those changes into the red boomerang if you do not have the blue one.
Yeah. I'm going here with a 8/strat. There's various ways you can kill this guard. I wouldn't have been too surprised to see Duck throw a pot just because he's already down a heart and it's easy to accidentally take a bunch of damage to the ball and chain guard, but he makes it through alright.
So now they both have to work their way back out of the basement to get to the throne room. Actually, I guess this isn't really basement. Well, kind of basement. I think it's classified as B1.
Yeah, I guess it is basement. I mean, it's the jail, and it's sort of you go down some stairs, so I don't know.
Yep, they both have to take the princess back to the throne room. It's standard opening.
You have to have the princess in order to push the mantle thingy in the throne room.
Yep.
And so everybody once in their speedrunning career forgets the princess and gets to the mantle and then goes to the Discord and posts about it and says, hey, is there some bug where sometimes you can't push the mantle? And then has a screenshot of himself without a maiden.
Yeah, Link's just not quite strong enough on his own. He needs a second person to help him. See, we don't get the power gloves till desert, so that's the problem.
Yeah. Just a little weakling right now. Coming up to the sewers, the sewers are have a lot more RNG than the first half of the escape split. Shouldn't see too much difference here. They should both be really experienced at handling everything, but these snakes behaving a little bit better for Buane, but not a big difference. There's also a rat that is holding our key coming up in a couple rooms that can lose a significant amount of time if you get the really worst RNG. Here you see they're stuttering, sort of trying to move at these shallow diagonals by alternating cardinals and diagonals in the water. That's what we call pumping. The way that Link's movement works, you reset your movement pattern every time you switch off of a diagonal back to a cardinal. And the beginning of the moving pattern, when you're walking left and up, is faster than the middle parts of the pattern. So you can save a lot of time by just sort of holding left and mashing up in the water.
And then in here, they'll hold right as they come in the door to skip a text box.
Buane getting bullied by a rat a little bit there, but makes it out with a very strong escape time. Duck just a little bit behind him, but very good. Good escapes from both runners. I assume that they'll both be picking up Sanctuary Heart.
You don't see many skip Sancard in the tourney. When you went for PBs, you might, if you're trying to cut off those extra few seconds, but in the tourney, it's a nice little safety to pick up right now.
Yeah, for sure. It only costs about 4 seconds or so over the course of the run. It has some significant benefits in terms of staying alive, and staying alive is really the fastest thing you can do.
Oh yeah, runs will die pretty quickly when you die.
Yeah.
Both of them are out of escape and on their way to Eastern. We're still kind of in the preliminary parts as we have to walk. No running yet.
Yeah, unfortunately you can't get the boots until after you beat Eastern. So both of them getting not the best luck in Octorok Field. Buane actually took a hit. Duck had to stop and slash. Luckily there's several hearts in Eastern that will get Buane back up to full without taking hardly any time.
Yep. There's a couple easy ones to grab, and they'll want to at least be... They ideally have full health, but you'll need at least 2 hearts for 1 room in Eastern.
Yeah. You can see here we walk right in front of that guard, and it looks like it should get you, like he should see you. But because of the way the guards look, they sort of look on an arc. So he's looking off to his right when you get there. And so if you pump up those stairs a little bit, you can just always beat him. You don't have to pump all that well to beat him. Then you can just walk right by without having to boomerang or slash or anything like that. Buane here, picking up one of those hearts. That heart is very, very fast. It's not literally free, but it's really close. Really good to get if you're missing any hearts here in Eastern. Oh, and picks up the last heart too.
That skeleton room, a pretty simple one to pick up once you know the path. Basically, if you follow a path, you will... There's 4 skeletons that spawn in the room. If you follow the same path, you'll have 2 of them basically spawn in out of bounds or in unspawnable locations. And so they won't spawn, and then you just can throw 2 pots to get the other 2.
Yeah, unfortunately both players got it, so we can't show what JP's talking about, but trust us.
Next up, we're going to see one of the damage boosting techniques in the run, where they're going to see them damage boost to trigger a switch, so they don't have to clear out the enemies in the room.
Yeah, this is probably the hardest room in Eastern. Well, it's one of the hardest rooms anyway. You see, Buane there tried to walk into the Popo, but was a little bit off, so he didn't get the deboost and had to give it another try. Took an extra damage. Buane here is playing it very safe. He went back and picked up both of those hard pots. He does not want any trouble in the back half of Eastern, which has allowed Duck to make up the time difference from Escape now.
Yeah.
Roughly synced now.
I don't blame him because the back of Eastern's not too dangerous. There are a lot of things that if you get off pattern just enough, they'll do a heart of damage to you and you'll be dead. So.
Yeah, for sure. It's easy to shoot the arrow in this room a tiny bit wrong and then just walk into the Igor because you assume it hit and stuff like that. Definitely reasonable to play it safe.
Both rounds picking up arrows. We got a couple rooms to hit switches before we hit 2 kill rooms. We got to kill all the enemies in.
Terrible cannonballs on Buane's side. Duck got a much nicer pattern. Buane got a much nicer pattern in that Zelda gamer room, though.
Oh, but he misses the Igor.
And you see he was down to 1 heart there, so it's a good thing he picked up the safeties. Oh, you hate to see that that arrow drop in a place where you can't pick it up. So Buane's going to be a little bit uncomfortable on his arrow count, which is going to sort of echo through the run. Like, it's not going to be a problem. They're actually both at very similar arrow counts, but he would have loved to be able to pick that up instead.
Yeah, they both want several arrows going into the next boss, but there's also several opportunities to pick up arrows in Desert, which is coming up next.
Yeah.
Looks like Duck pulled off a slight gold there by some tenths of a second, but still nice. Actually, no, it looks gold on my screen, but I don't think that's gold now.
No, I don't think that's a gold. We're going to pick up our boots here from our cowboy friend. We're going to immediately do probably the most fun glitch in the game.
Yes, the spin speed. Basically, you charge a spin.
He did it.
Oh.
Duck went right.
Nice.
Normally you go left there because there's enemies if you go right, and you get blocked and destroyed a lot more often. But he went right because Buane went right in the castle. Anyway, sorry, go back to your explanation. I'm sorry for interrupting.
That's alright. So basically, you charge a spin speed, or you charge a spin, and then when you release the spin, the frame after, you hit the dash button very quickly. And if you do it right, basically, you'll get locked into a state where, as you see, they just step off the stairs and it treats them as though they're dashing, even though they're not. So it gives them the same speed as if they had the boots.
Yeah. Which is really fast. In particular, the problem with dashing is that you can't turn. So if you need to go down and left, you have to do 2 dashes, and charging a dash takes a while, but with spin speed you can just maintain the same speed all the way through, which is really cool. But it does require having a staircase to activate, so we can't use it everywhere. It's just a nice little treat in a few places in the run.
I think in that screen with the library, it doesn't save that much time, but it will be very helpful in that screen a little later in the run.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, both of those spin speeds are kind of optional. The one leaving Eastern is like not particularly optional. It saves like several seconds. Yeah. There's a lot of spin speeds that save like 20 to 40 frames that people will go for or not, sort of depending on taste. And then there's a few that are just really big saves.
The one coming up later is definitely falls into the category of really big save.
Yeah, for sure. Making our way into Desert Palace here. This dungeon is... I think the inside of the dungeon is maybe the easiest inside of the dungeon in the game, but then the boss is arguably the hardest thing in the whole game to do fast. Very, very polarizing segment of the run. See here, back to synced again.
Yeah, Buane is slowly making up that time he lost in Eastern.
Well, makes it through. Oh, both of them making through the cannonballs. Very nice. Depending on the pattern that the cannonballs give you, sometimes you have to stop and restart your dash in the middle of the room, which loses a substantial amount of time. Both players are very low on rupees, also.
Yeah, Duck has not picked up any, and Buane has... Oh, no, Duck, they both hit. Buane has 10, Duck has 5, and Buane should be fine at this point as they pick up the glove. Buane will get 100 rupees a little later, and Duck should be fine as well. He'll grab 5 rupees in addition to those 100 in Aga Tower.
Yeah, so you can get up to 106 rupees in Aga Tower, but really don't want to have to pick up all of them because they're slower than just like getting lucky. So both players opting to do this optional spin speed here. Duck did not get it. I was watching his screen though. I don't see if Buane did.
I think Buane did get it because he was pretty quick on that screen.
Very nice. That one's a little bit more dangerous because if you mess up your control, you fall off the cliff and you have to run back through desert and reopen it and everything. It's a sort of horrific amount of time loss if you mess it up. But it is a noticeable save. It saves like 40-ish frames. You get it.
But speaking of horrific time losses, we've got the Land Molus fight coming up.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. This is probably the first really common big time differentiator in the run. It's really easy to lose like 15 seconds here compared to somebody if they get a great fight and you get a bad one. So I'll watch Buane's.
Okay, I'll watch Duckman.
A pretty good sort of average first cycle.
And good first cycle for Duck. He gets 6 arrows total in.
Alright, Buane with a very clean 3 cycle.
Duck's struggling a little bit more. And that's his third right there. Gets his first down. Yeah, Duck's gonna at least have a 5 cycle here.
That's not what you want to see.
Yeah, 5 cycle for Duck.
Yeah, so that makes up for all the, the little bit of slop at the end of Eastern Palace, and then some. So Buane now is off to, not a crushing lead by any chance, but a little bit of a lead.
We got one of the most dangerous moments in the run coming up here. The fake flipper. Basically, they're going to jump in the water and then quickly swim over. As long as they do that within 1 frame, the game doesn't check that they're swimming. But they need to get to this portal without taking a hit, or they'll soft block.
Buane through just fine. Very nice swim.
See how Duck handles it?
Oh, Duck stopping his dash there. He got a little paranoid, I guess, because he didn't actually need to. Oh, it messes up the setup. Oh, that's not great. Duck having some trouble here, unfortunately.
He gets through the portal, though.
There we go.
The risk in there is if you take a hit, the game tries to put you back. The game basically does a flipper check, and when it sees you don't have flippers, it tries to put you back on land. But it can't because it doesn't know where to put you. So if you move at all, you actually hard lock the game, and that ends your run.
Yeah, we normally you're not allowed to save and quit in this category, but for the tournament, if that happens, if you get locked there, if you get hit during fake flippers, we're allowing players to save and quit and go back to Link's house, like respawn at Link's house, which means that they can continue racing at the cost of only 25 seconds instead of the entire first 20 minutes of the game. Still, obviously, a very substantial time loss, but you can keep playing if it does happen to you in this tournament. Buane doing this movement here, we see he got spin speed. This is one of the most important spin speeds in the run. Saves really a lot of time. You get to cover a ton of ground with the super speed.
Plus you avoid damage, which is pretty critical going into Hera.
Yeah, for sure. Hera has a lot of ways to throw bad RNG at you. Looks like both players are probably going to get into here with only one heart down, which is really good. Sometimes the mountain just like really destroys you, deals you 3 or 4 hearts of damage, and then you spend all of Hera afraid for your life, but went well this time.
So in here we gotta start in the basement first and sit through a tile room.
Yep, there's unfortunately nothing you can do here. You just have to wait for all the tiles to come up and die one by one.
Despite there being multiple tile rooms in the game, this is the only one we actually have to sit through.
Yeah, how lucky for us.
I think if you ever play this game casually, you realize how many of these tile rooms are pointless. And you sit there, you go through it, and then you open the chest at the end, and you're like, or you get nothing, and like, that was it.
Yeah, like there's one terrible one in Turtle Rock where you spend a bunch of time sitting in a tile room, and if you're playing it casually, you're probably taking damage. It's harder than it looks to not get hit by any of these. And then at the end, your prize is like a fairy, and so it's like, here, we just dealt you some damage, and then gave you your life back. Have fun.
Pretty much. Buane's got his big keys beginning his climb. Duck right behind him.
I'm in a little trouble with this Beatles room.
Yeah, he tried to throw a pot and missed. And he's trying to get him down the pits, but they're not going.
That's a really difficult room to do, and as you can see, once it goes wrong, it's like often really hard to get the Beatles to cooperate and fall into pits or not knock you around or whatever.
Looks like Duck's having some of the same problems.
Slightly cleaner recovery, I'd say, but yeah.
Oh, Buane
no.
falls! That's a huge time loss.
That's really quite bad. It's like 40 seconds or something. So what he was attempting to do is knock himself over that pit by using a bomb. But he tried to do it the fastest way possible, where you place the bomb really early, so it's exploding like kind of right when you get there, which saves a bunch of time. But if it goes wrong, you don't have any time to adjust and fix it. Buane also unfortunately lost his arrow drop in the Beatles room, so maybe after Moldorm I'll talk a little bit more about prizes, or JP can. Coming up on Moldorm here, this is a really tricky boss. Expect that we'll see Duck take it a little bit safe and get through just fine, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Oh!
Whoa.
Scared us there for a second.
Yeah, good fight.
Moldorm, while it seems like it's random, it does have some patterns to it, so as long as after you play it for a while, you kind of get the feel of how Moldorm moves, and you can work with it a little bit, though it can always still throw you a curveball.
Yeah, for sure. It is a little bit more controllable than a lot of new players think, though, definitely. But it can still go really wrong. Buane getting some bad luck. Oh, very nice spin. Duck's making his way now to the tree pole section. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was about to talk about it, actually. So as soon as Duck gets out of this cave, he's gonna pull a tree and get five blue rupee drops, which I think he'll have to grab all of them at this point. And then he'll kill 4 enemies on the way to the Master Sword without taking any damage. If he pulls that off, he'll get another tree pull, which will give him 5 or 4 red rupees. And that'll give him the rupees he needs for Pod coming up shortly.
Interesting. Normally, players kill an enemy on that screen with the first tree or the screen right after it, either the bird or the pickle or sometimes the crab. But Duck opted to not kill any of those, so oh no, and taking a hit.
Yeah, that's a problem because now he's going to be set up for another blue tree pull.
Yeah, I assume he knows the backup where you pull the tree in the courtyard. It doesn't lose too much time, but obviously it doesn't feel good. Losing beams also kind of sucks. Beams save you a pretty decent amount of time in the tower part of the split.
No, so far so good for Buane. Yeah, there is a backup strategy to mention the tree in the courtyard of the castle, and then there's also the extreme backup strategy of mirroring at Saha to get the Saha rupees.
Yeah, well, that's the last resort. Yeah, tree pulls are around 4-ish seconds faster than Saha's Closet.
So
you see this time where...
Yeah, so Duck didn't get to 4 kills, that's why I got green rupees.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Oh, and he missed. Okay, well, we'll see what he does now. He can either go for Saha's Closet, mirroring into pick up the rupees from the back of Saha's hut in the Dark Maze on his way to Palace of Darkness. Or he can do a tree pull here and then leave and farm 4 more kills. They're both really bad solutions. I guess he's going to do Saha's Closet. Yes, he could also do a tree pull, then go through a tower damageless. It might be better to try that if your other plan is Saha's Closet. I don't know. This is the backup to a backup. I don't know if anybody's ever timed it very carefully. This is definitely allowing Buane to catch up a lot, though. Buane actually might be ahead now. Because Duck is going to have to spend about, I don't know, 18 seconds or something getting those rupees. It's a lot.
Now, you talk about prize packs. You saw Duck kill those guards. What Duck did was, he did a hit and then he killed the guards with a dash. And a dash kill does not advance the prize pack. This is important because it sets up for a fairy grab in Turtle Rock. Because there's only these enemies we're seeing, those guards and the Pokies in Turtle Rock share a prize pack. And they're the only enemies we kill on the run with this prize pack. Except for one Helmasaur, mini Helmasaur in Pod that we'll see shortly.
Yep. The manip is both really nice because Turtle Rock hits really hard and it's very easy to die there. And also because we take deliberate damage in that split and getting beams back saves a lot of time. But we can talk more about that when we get to it. Duck, unfortunately, his troubles did not end when he entered the climb part of the split. He got beat up a little bit in the Dark Maze. Buane seems to be having a much healthier segment here.
We can see if the guards move. Nope. Little off. But he's actually handled that nicely. Fortunately, the guard didn't move well for Buane either, but he got around it well too. But here's the section that can really, really change this race.
How so?
Well, we've got this boss called Aga. And he has this 5 attack cycle that he does. Where the first attack is a reflectable attack you have to hit back at him. His 5th attack is a lightning bolt. And in between, he has 3 attacks that are 50-50 chances. Either a reflectable ball or a splittable blue ball. Every splittable blue ball will add 6 seconds to their run, and every lightning bolt they get adds another 6 seconds. Yeah,
and there's, just to be clear, absolutely nothing we can do about this. There's no way to manipulate it. The way the RNG works is just completely outside of human control. It updates every frame based on like everything. So we can't manipulate it, just have to pray.
Here's the first for Duck.
And another for Duck.
Buane's got one so far.
I do want to shout out a player named Blank, who, among many other cool things he's done for the community, did some math, some counting, some thinking, and determined that there will be a 2-cycle difference, so 12 seconds or less, between two players half the time.
And Duck is getting some bad luck. That's 5 blue balls so far. And Buane got out with 1.
Alright, well, really everything is just not coming up Duck's way this round. Well, I guess except for Buane falling in the Hera bomb jump. Yeah, so 1 versus 5 is about...
Oh, make it 6.
6. Duck does claim that he always gets 6 blue balls, so I guess he was right this time. So that's 5 extra blue balls plus a lightning cycle. Is like 36 seconds or so. Just thanks to Aghanim.
I think it's 2 extra lightning cycles there, but yeah.
Buane making his way into the Dark World now. This is sort of the Light World is about 1/3 of the run, and the Dark World is about 2/3 of it, give or take. Coming up to do Palace of Darkness here. The step into the Dark World is a real big jump in difficulty in a couple of ways. The Light World is not easy, but with a few exceptions, you're mostly losing small amounts of time. You're losing frames here, maybe a second here or there, with a couple of exceptions. In the Dark World, when things go wrong, things hit for way more damage. The amount of time that you're playing with is way bigger. It's just like... I don't know. It's more punishing, I guess, is the way to put it.
Yeah, that's definitely a good way to put it. It's a lot more punishing. Like those birds that we call the murder-dactyls. If you get hit by them, that's 4 hearts of damage.
I think those are actually only 3, but yeah, they're really brutal. See here, Duck mirroring. Oh wow, I thought that was going to be a bonk.
Is that portal? Is he going to be able to get back in that portal though?
I sure hope so. Oh, he opts to get the bombs while he's here.
Yeah, I think he can. He can't! That is bad.
Can he jump into it? Oh, Buane lost his bomb drop too. That's annoying.
He can't. He's got to go back to Hyrule Castle.
Yikes, that sucks. Man. He's going right side again though. At least he's got pizzazz. That was a lot of lag. Apparently there's more lag on that screen after Aghanim's dead. So a little known thing, if you only know the speedrun, you might not really be aware of how much the enemies in the game change after Aghanim, but like practically every Light World screen has more and more difficult enemies after you've killed Aghanim. I guess rando players are probably all know that.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with how enemies change in the Light World. But you know, despite that happening to Apathy, to Duck, it's not over yet. This race is still far from over. A lot can still happen. I mean, there's a lot of... A death in one of these dungeons could easily change the race.
That's definitely true, yeah. There are several places in the run that are very easy to die that would more than make up for this difference. That looked like a good hammer jump. I wasn't watching the whole thing closely, but
yeah, it looked very smooth on Buane's side.
Yeah, as someone in chat is pointing out, it would be very easy to get frustrated and forfeit at that point. You're already behind. You failed the the tree pulls, and then you mess up your mirror portal. Definitely want to give props to... Ooh, wow. Okay. Definitely want to give props to Duck for sticking with it. Also, Buane there shot the arrow to hit that switch. It's a pretty narrow window, and he missed the window, but he thought he got it, and he was almost off of the ledge before noticing, which would have been pretty bad. Buane heading into the basement. Where we're coming up on Helmasaur, which is a really brutal boss. This is one of the most valuable times to have Sankheart because it offers you a whole extra hit. Helmasaur hits for 2 damage, and so being at 7 hearts is a lot better than being at 6. It should go smoothly. I think he does. I'm pretty sure he does. Spin Speed Helma, which allows you to change the hammer hitbox, which is really bad when you're facing north. By doing a spin dash here, you can change it into the dashing hitbox, which is pretty good facing north. It lets you get a lot more range on Helmasaur, which makes you getting hits without getting hit, dealing damage without taking damage a lot easier. Really good job of playing around those fireballs there. Gets another fireball. Had a little more trouble dodging that time, but cleans it up very nicely. Duck with an unfortunate hammer jump fall. It looked good to me, but it's hard to tell sometimes on the smaller resolution. He might have just been a little bit too far to the right, unfortunately. There are some pixels farther to the right of the bridge that just don't work. This should be good, though. I wonder if he'll take a Death Warp out to get a little bit of a heart refill. It'd be nice if the could go to shoot fire down to help with that.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna take a Death Warp.
Yeah, I think that's a good decision.
I think the clarification, even though you get a save or game over screen there, that doesn't count as a save and quit, because it's effectively the same as a mirror.
Yeah. Yeah, you're allowed to die in dungeons whenever you want. I wouldn't recommend it in general, but you're allowed to.
It's more of a rando thing where you die in dungeons to move around quicker.
Yeah, luckily in the run we get the mirror fairly early.
Yeah, I don't even think there's a situation where we would need it earlier than that would help, so...
Buane cutting it real close on that Murderdactyl, but didn't get hit. Yeah, he was a little bit high there. If you walk down on that hammer peg bridge, if you walk down low enough that your dash left actually nudges you up above the statue, then you can immediately hammer dash down. But he was a tiny bit too high and the rope got him and it feels pretty bad. You want to explain what a hammer dash is? I don't think we've talked about that yet.
Yeah, hammer dash. It's kind of similar to the spin seed, but slightly different. Basically, you're going to, I believe it's you dash and then you hit the item button at the pretty much almost the exact same time. I think the item button's like a frame later, but basically what happens is you'll try to use the item and dash at the same time.
Yeah, you gotta hit them on the same frame. But yeah, so items differ, but the hammer in particular just sort of works while you're dashing. So we just sort of have to hammer once while we're dashing and we get through all the pegs instead of having to hammer 3 times.
I'll explain a little more after we see if Buane gets to spin speed, avoid that guard. That's why you want the spin speed on that screen. Because if you get hit by that guard, that's several seconds lost.
Duck getting bullied a little by Helmasaur, but cleans it up really nicely.
Something else with that, the hammer dash, it's interesting. The hammer dash, basically when you do it, it gives you your hammer basically the same hitbox as the sword. which is what we've seen some of these runners use on Helmasaur. Interestingly enough, though, if you don't have a sword, the hammer dash will not work.
That's true. Buane making it. Oh, he didn't. I thought he was good. Yikes. That's a surprisingly tough screen. That screen, the Three Musketeers screen with the apple tree.
Yeah, I mean, as a runner myself, I'm kind of watching this because there's still a lot I need to pick up. So it's just nice to look at these little things the runners do, to see how they optimize these screens.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot you can learn from watching really good runners like both of these guys. Buane making it into Thieves Town. Right around the time Duck starts his journey over, so Buane has about a 3-minute lead, which is very substantial, but there are deaths that cost that much time in this run. It is really not over yet. In Thieves Town, we're sort of getting back to our roots. We're gonna rescue a maiden. Duck also a little too high on that dash, but he notices in time and opts to walk down a little bit to play it safe. Makes it through unscathed. I regret to inform you that we do not have trivia today. Unless you have trivia. Do you have trivia, JP?
Unfortunately, I do not.
That's too bad.
Suppose I could try to look up something quick, but don't think it'd be the best.
Yeah, I forgot to look anything up until it was like 5 minutes before and I didn't have time anymore. So we're going to the attic of this building to cause some property damage. It doesn't really matter, it's just really fun to destroy stuff is the only real reason we're up here, I'm pretty sure. What happened to Duck?
Duck's still going on the restream. It's just on our end, actually. Duck's on his way to activate the flute right now as Buane's continuing through Thieves Town.
He said cool game in chat, and I worried that something happened to his run, but maybe this is the first time he's had time to chat since the stuff that went wrong. Anyway, Buane here going to collect a couple things in the basement, namely a maiden and a new pair of gloves. Duck making it through that Three Musketeers screen safely, the way the strat's supposed to go. The way that it, always goes in practice, but not always in runs. You'll notice that Duck entered that portal in what looks like kind of a weird way, where he picked up the rock and then he did this left-right movement. There are certain coordinates where warping between the Dark World and the Light World is faster by 34 frames, which is over half a second. And on that one, if you enter the portal from the left, you always get the fast warp, or the quick warp is what we call it. I don't know why I said fast warp. You'll see these players going for quick warps in a lot of places. That's one that's sort of automatic, because you just walk to the left and then walk into it. But some of the other ones are more difficult. Making it through the blind fight perfectly, no problems. Very nice. It's a pretty solid Thieves Town from Buane. The overworld had a couple things go wrong, but the dungeon itself was clean.
And as Buane is mashing through some more text, Duck is working his way into the back of Thieves Town.
Doing the Hellway here. Didn't really point this out when Buane did it. This is a really nasty room. There's one pixel in the middle where you can dash between all the spikes and stuff, but that also requires several different enemies to cooperate with you. And Duck did not get very good RNG there, but handled it pretty well, made it through with no damage and pretty fast.
I think Buane actually got the pixel there.
Yeah, I think he got a very good Hellway.
But now we're running our errands as Buane grabs some rupees. Gonna go pick up a frog that'll turn into a smith, and it'll give him a nice glowing orange sword. Then pick up more rupees before going into Skullwoods.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but whenever I, destroy people's property and steal their life savings, I refer to it as errands.
It is weird when you think about it, that Link is just going into all these houses and taking money and items and sometimes just trashing their property and then just leaving.
Yeah, it's really funny. And sometimes I think, I'm like, oh, well, it's the Dark World, it doesn't really matter. But it's like, a casual player, you do that in the Light World too. You break into Blind's house and blow a hole in his basement for some reason. Oh, man. It's for a greater cause. It's okay.
Yeah, but think about it. You'll see them go into houses and smash pots. You'll see them attack their chickens. Though, I mean, if you attack the chickens fight back.
Duck on the conveyor bridge after getting the gloves showed off that when you get the bad RNG there, if you still have beams, it's kind of hard to carry beams that far into the dungeon because you have to still be at full health. But you can shoot the berry, and so he got the bad RNG, but got to beam the berry and got his arrow drop out of it, which is really nice. Both these players actually have very comfortable arrow counts for this point in the run. Sometimes you can be as low as 5 arrows here. This is quite nice.
Yeah, they might want to pick up a few more arrows. There's some opportunities to do that if they want to. Next place they really need arrows, though, is Mire. They'll need it for Vitreous and Mire.
Yeah.
Oh, Buane has a nice mummy room.
Very nice. That room can go incredibly wrong if it goes wrong at all, but getting through it very nicely. Incredible. He has to dash up through the mummy out of the door and then still beat the spike. I didn't know that was possible. I'm kidding. I knew it was possible. I just can't do it.
Yeah, definitely better than I could do.
Coming up here on the fire rod, sometimes Buane goes for an early bomb jump here. He might try to redeem himself a little. There we go. We got this, right, Buane? We got this. Very nice. That bomb jump, I don't do either early bomb jump, but that bomb jump is widely considered more difficult than the Harrow one because there isn't enough space to have a nice long clean setup where the whole thing works out. But I can't do the easy one, quote unquote easy one either.
Yeah, they both look pretty difficult to me. Moth goes down pretty quickly, but if you don't, then the other spikes fly around and it becomes more difficult.
Alright, had a little bit of trouble getting the last hit in there, but didn't take any damage or anything. Very good moth fight. You can see only 2 spikes are missing. The spikes start moving around the room, and then when the boss dies, they disappear for some reason instead of going back to their homes or whatever. The Duck going for fence dash, not getting it, and opting to just try a random pixel and see if it worked. It didn't, but I respect the effort. I respect the energy there.
That would explain his greater than plus A in message and chat. Actually, no, it's less than. Sorry. Greater than is the other way.
Little was the crocodile eats the bigger fish or whatever.
Yep.
Let's see how his mummy room goes. Also a very nice mummy room. Nicely done and a little bit of good RNG. Buane here, I don't think you have Buane's audio, but he's going to play the flute right as he transitions onto the screen. Seems kind of random if you don't know some technical mumbo jumbo about the game, but it allows us to kill an enemy more easily at the beginning of Ice Palace. I think this is probably the hardest overworld in the game. What do you think?
The section? Yeah, I think hardest. I was gonna say Death Mountain, but at the same time, Death Mountain is more just how does RNG line up.
Yeah, the path to Turtle Rock is probably my second pick, but it's probably harder when you get the worst RNG, but sometimes you get good RNG, and here it's just always hard.
It's mostly hard because you want to keep those sword beams. As Buane wakes up the catfish.
Did Duck just dash down after that key pot? Did something go wrong and he had to fix it? I only saw the end of the room.
Anyway, Buane going to grab his flippers. This is what we needed all that money for.
Yeah, this screen has a lot of really tricky movement. And then at the end of it, you get to buy flipper. Oh no.
Bunny duck.
Apathy bunny.
Yep, that'd be a good way to put it. And then Buane's picking up his overpriced flippers at 500 rupees, where we question the Hyrulean economy. 500 rupees for flippers, but 10 rupees for a sword.
Well, the difference is that the flippers come with... Oh yeah, that was a really good moth fight. Very nice deck. The flippers come with a couple perks, such as also instantly learning how to swim. And you get use of the magic whirlpools, which, as we proved earlier, you actually don't need the flippers to use. But, you know, Zora thinks you do. Oh, Buane, no.
That hurts. See, he's going to lose his sword beam. It's going to cost him a little bit of time in an early Ice Palace.
Yeah, there's a couple rooms in here where missing beams can be pretty painful. Ice 2, and then honestly, it's pretty bad in the bombable floor, and it's pretty bad in the conveyor room as well. So we'll see how he handles it. Definitely going to have... He's sort of playing on hard mode now.
Well, he actually got a little lucky in that room, and the berry didn't electrify, so he was able to swipe it right away.
Yeah. Yeah, if you get bad luck there, the berry's already electrocuting, and then you just have to sit and wait.
Also, we mentioned blowing the flutes to set up a fire rod shot at the start of Ice Palace, and that was so quick we didn't even get to talk about it.
Good point. Oh, Buane going for the optimal strat in that room. Most players go for a spin in there, which kills a bunch of penguins, pengators. If you don't have beams, you can do that down slash that Buane does, and it's actually faster. If you do have beams, they tie, but if you don't have beams, that's the optimal strat.
That's another room. It helps to have beams in, but Buane gets through it quick. Now we're going to see his Ice Palace bomb jump.
This is the single most important trick in the whole game, Ice Palace bomb jump. It allows us to save like 2 loops through the dungeon. It saves like around 2 minutes. It's an absurd amount of time. Very, very well executed. Duck was going to go for what we call quick fish, which is a strat where you throw that skull into a place where it doesn't look like it should go, but it still triggers the catfish. But had a little trouble with the setup there and reverted back to the normal strat.
Buane coming up on the cold stair fight. This is definitely one of the more dangerous bosses here.
Yes.
Buane just gets back to full magic. He needs all full magic to fire 8 fire rod shots here. He's even missing a little bit. He can't.
So normally this fight is over in a flash. That setup looked a little awkward.
Oh, they got away.
Okay,
But
only
he
got away a
recovered.
tiny bit, luckily.
Yeah, he recovered.
So through with one of the scariest rooms in the game. Still a few more really scary ones coming up. Duck getting blocked by Azora there, unfortunately. Oh, has to dodge another fireball. That was pretty bad RNG.
Yeah. The reason that one is so scary is that if you take the death there, it is a massive time loss. Probably one of the biggest time losses you could take in the run. Because you can't go right back in. You have to refill magic.
And also just because we don't actually do anything in Ice Palace, anything permanent, except for unlock like one door. Because we skip all of the dungeon, we don't get the big key, we don't like solve any puzzles. So in a lot of dungeons, if you die at the boss, the trip back to the boss is a lot shorter because you've done something. But in Ice Palace, you haven't done anything. You just have to do all of the work over again.
Oh, that dead rock hit the perfect pixel.
What a cool enemy. Dead rocks are so annoying. After you hit them, they turn purple like that, and then you can't hit them, you can't move them. You're just stuck waiting for about 9 seconds.
And if you have a cave nearby, you can run into the cave and run out quick, but that's about the best you can do.
Yeah. I don't know how long that takes compared to how long it takes to just wait. I don't know if it's ever correct or not.
If you have space on
sucks.
if you have space on the overworld screen, you can run off screen and run back, and that'll also reset it, which
That's true.
generally should be faster, but you don't always have that option. So Buane's doing more errands. This is actually the last of his errands. He's grabbed the Ether Medine. He's got to grab the Ice Rod now. 2 things that are very cold.
Yeah, these items are great because between the 2 of them, we use them twice. They each get exactly 1 use. They're the worst items in the game. We have to go out of our way for them. You can't combine them with anything else. But now we have them. We can get back to completing dungeons.
I was going to mention the Quake Medallion in that statement, but then you said that you can't combine with anything else. At least you can combine Quake with some other things.
Yeah, at least Quake is kind of on the way to the flippers, fortunately.
Duck dropping into the cold stair fights. And he let them get away. But also recovered nicely.
Yeah, a little bit of a party, but could be a lot worse.
And Duck's hanging out in chat and like, occasionally typing stuff. And every time he does, I'm like, what's about to happen on stream?
Buane going for this very difficult strat in that lever room, where if your movement is really crispy, you can beat the Annie Fairy after the lever pull, but didn't quite get it. Buane doing Swamp now. This is a very annoying dungeon. it's very difficult. It's very unlikely for anything to go really wrong, but it's also very likely for like 60 different things to go a tiny bit wrong. Just a ton of enemy RNG all over the place, getting in your way.
So, as we brought up the Helposaur King to bring up some info on the tourney here, actually looking ahead to see who the winner of this match is going to play, and it apparently is going to be the winner of your match.
Yeah. I'm playing the winner of this.
Well, I don't know if it's a winner. I don't know. Have you played your match against Fricker already?
No. I'm just. This is just bravado.
Okay.
Duck, I guess, doesn't get any items in this split. Most people get ether in this split.
It's interesting. I know if you wait for ether, I think it's a little faster climbing because you have the hook shot for hook speed, and I think it also saves a little time menuing, but it is a little more dangerous as well because you want beams going into mire.
Yeah, it's just better to take damage in swamp than in mire. It is a little bit faster to do mire later, though, for exactly the reason you said. But it's not by much. It's by a little less than a second. So most people these days don't bother with that second. Getting a little trolled by those little Phelps at the beginning of swamp there. Luckily, still had beams. That is the benefit of doing ether in mire, is that if those I think they're actually called water tektites. If they misbehave at the beginning of swamp, having beams is actually pretty useful there as well as in mire too.
Buane about to pick up the big key.
Duck grabbing the wall there saves a little bit of lag while the water is filling up by not drawing Link's shield.
There are a couple rooms that I've seen runners do that in. I know the Helmosaur explosion is one of those as well.
Does it save time in there? I don't actually know.
Not 100% sure. I know I've seen runners, but maybe that's a rando thing because you have bigger shields sometimes.
Yeah, that might be it. I don't know. There's a bunch of places where I grab onto walls to despawn my shield just in case, because there's nothing else to do. But I don't actually know which ones matter.
Anyway, but Buane has the hook shot heading to the back of swamp as Duck is about to do his second water fill.
Yep. Remember to hit the switch. Most important part of the dungeon. Buane making his way to the end of the dungeon where we'll be fighting Argus. Argus he's got two phases. You gotta kill all the puffs, and then you gotta kill Argus himself, I guess. I don't know, the middle. Wow, Buane opting to pick up those arrows at 24. That's very interesting.
Yeah, he was in good shape going into mire, but it could be just a little safety too. I'm curious, does Buane go for 0 cycle Argus, or will he just go for the 1 cycle?
I'm pretty sure he goes for 0 cycle. I don't know if he does the quick kill on the second phase or not, but we'll see. Alright, so by doing a hook dash when you enter this room, you can get Link in a state where his pokes do full damage. Oh no, that looked good to me, but... and then by continuing to re-hook at a good rhythm, you can hook a puff, kill it with 1 poke, and then hook the next puff. If you get all of them really fast, then Argus will just jump up in the sky and enter the second phase before he starts doing the little whirlwind of puffs. Buane there got what we call the MD cycle, or the fake cycle, where he didn't have any puffs, but he had already decided to do the whirlwind, so he just sits there and plays the sound effect.
And what's the difference there between doing the quick kill versus what Buane did, the 2 spins, but knock Argus to the north side of the room. According to Vortex and chat, it's about a second difference. So yeah, we have Buane out of Swamp going to Mire, as Duck is working his way towards the Argus fight. Looks like Duck might have caught up a little bit of time. Worth remembering, Duck still has to pick up Ether and Ice Rod. Buane already has half of them, or has both of them, not half of them.
Yeah, we'll see if he manages to actually get the 0 cycle here. Definitely also goes for it. I think Duck goes for the Fire Rod quick kill as well. We'll see.
Oh, I think he got hit, so
Oof.
just missed the 0 cycle. And he's got to be a little careful.
Yep, he's going for the Fire Rod quick kill. If you get it, yeah. Oh, there's the problem. If you get it, it saves about a second, but if you miss it, it loses like 5. Which is why Buane opted not to go for it.
Nice Mire 2 for Buane. Yeah, so Mire is another dungeon where you'll take a lot of little hits here and there. You have the damage boost in this room a little later. So you can definitely lose a lot of health quickly in this dungeon. But at the same time, this is also a dungeon where if you have powder, it's really nice because there's a bunch of fancy fairies in here. Unfortunately, or well, not necessarily unfortunately, but for these runners, neither of them picked up mushroom or powder.
Yeah, Mire is generally a fairly consistent dungeon at this level. It's pretty unlikely that either of them would need a health refill at the end here. When you're less experienced with it, everything in this dungeon hits really hard. So if you mess anything up, you're going to take a lot of damage. But I would expect to not see either runner really have too much trouble in here. Hopefully.
Duck is heading to pick up his Ether Medallion. Being very careful to not take damage so you can save those sword beams.
Buane making his way over to the Cane of Samaria. This very interesting item. It's a little bit of a workout in this category, gets much more of a workout in some other categories of this game. Yeah, and Duck now has to do all of his shopping, which makes the lead a little bit more obvious. Buane going for the most cursed North quick hop in the entire run. I don't know if we talked about North quick hops, but when you approach a ledge that you're going to hop off of, if you have the boots, you can tap A to hop immediately. But if you're facing north, Link will grab the edge instead of hopping. So you have to sort of turn and then approach it from a diagonal and then quick hop. So they're a lot harder than the rest of the quick hops.
Buane is doing what we call the spooky action glitch. So he set it up to manipulate the altitude variable, which, when manipulated, allows him to shoot these different objects, and the game registers it as triggering the switch, or the peg switch, which will adjust the height of the pegs. I don't think I described that well in any way.
The gist is that the fire rod it wants to do some splash damage after its initial hit, and it just sort of instead of like reading where that damage should go and then putting the damage there, it just puts it there without setting it first. So we can set the value by using the bird that we called to fly to the area, and it will just reuse that value and hit way off screen. Duck going for a YOLO top dash there, and getting paid off for it. Not playing the odds, but did save his 10 frames or so.
Now with that, Buane has his 6th crystal, and he's going to be on his way to Turtle Rock. Last of the crystal dungeons. Yeah, so far Buane is maintaining that lead. It's probably still 3 to 4 minutes at this point.
Yeah, we'll have a better feel for it when Duck finishes Mire. Well, I guess, yeah, it's about 3.5 minutes, I think, because Buane had a high 105 time when he was lighting the Mire torches, I'm pretty sure. And Duck had a lowish 109. The triple hook shot! Oh, the Waffle House drive-through with the triple. Beautiful.
Yeah, and then the other Dead Rock says, nope, you don't get the perfect.
No, but it was still cool.
Yeah, it was still cool, yes.
That was his second time getting... Oh, Duck! Oh, Duck going for the Mire bomb jump. Oh my gosh, my hero. Didn't actually get it though, unfortunately. You can bomb jump across there, and it saves like maybe 1 second in NMG. And if you miss it, obviously it's terrible. But it's really cool. Duck knows that he's a pretty big dog to win the race at this point, so he's trying to show off a little bit.
So as Duck picks up his cane, Buane is heading into Turtle Rock to use that cane.
Yeah, the first thing we used the cane for was hitting a switch. Now we're using it because we need to make these platforms.
I don't remember if the game actually gives you a hint on if the cane does that.
I think it does. There's a Saha tile in the first room of TR, and I'm pretty sure it says something like, try the Cane of Samaria.
It's been so long since I played this vanilla that I don't remember what any of those tiles say.
Yeah. Yeah, the English version. What's that?
Yeah, I'm curious how... Oh, he damage boosted. I just didn't see that.
Buane coming up on...
Sorry, go ahead.
Buane coming up on many people's choice for the worst room in the game. Where there are, for some reason, we're entering the Mushroom Kingdom for a couple rooms here. We've got Chain Chomps. Very random, they hit very hard, the room's very difficult. Buane, of course, gets a fairly good pattern, executes it beautifully, and then walks into a Chain Chomp.
Oh, Buane did get his fairy. Duck's down to 1 heart, but should be okay.
Vitreous did not claim a victim in this run. He has claimed a victim in a lot of runs this tournament. I think maybe even more than Cold Stare, which is not what you would expect going in, but I think those are probably the 2 most common deaths in the game, are Vitreous and Cold Stare. Buane not picking up the magic there, interesting choice. I don't think he needs it because he did beams in Chain Chomps, but I would get it for safety in a race myself, I think.
That's actually pretty fair. I think he's fine on magic, but yeah, it would definitely be just a little extra safety to make sure you are.
Yeah.
Pokies do not cooperate, they jump in opposite directions.
Yeah. That's an annoying RNG, but cleaned up very nicely.
Meanwhile, Duck is out of mire. It is essentially a 4-minute difference right now.
Yeah. So if everything goes massively wrong and Buane dies to Trinex, then we'll have a pretty close race. Or perhaps if he gets a one-frame glitch in GT. But the chances for Duck are running out.
Next up for Buane, though, is a nice, perfect laser skip.
See if he does fast laser skip. I know that he likes it. Looks like we got it. Very nice.
Yep, that was definitely a fast laser skip.
The safe strat there is to put down a block and watch the beetle run into the block and fall down, and then you can dash through at your leisure. There's a setup for that fast laser skip, but it's quite difficult. It's not as difficult as it looks at first, but it's definitely not easy either. Coming up on Trinex here, the name is a total mystery. No one will ever know why this boss is named Trinex. Gotta hit each head with the appropriate magic to make it vulnerable, and then some slashes.
I mean, I would theorize it's that he has 3 necks, but I can't confirm that the one head had a neck because I never saw it.
Yeah, see, there's no neck on this one.
Yeah, as scary as that boss is, in NMG, you get it's down so well that boss is actually not that bad at all. It's another boss that can get away from you, but for the most part, most runners are adjusted to how it works and don't have much issue with it.
Yeah, if something goes wrong and you start getting ice on the ground and running low on magic, it can be really scary, but most of the time it looks basically like what Buane just did. When Duck gets there, oh, Duck accidentally poked a Pokey. Never poke a Pokey, friends.
Yeah.
When Duck gets to Trinex, he will be doing more exciting strats. We'll talk about when he gets there. Very clean chomps also from him. Buane entering Ganon's Tower. Final dungeon of the run. Very fun, very difficult, very fast-paced dungeon after this long, boring cutscene. It's a lot of rooms of interesting movement and difficult combat. A good mix of just like RNG and execution. It's a really fun way to end the run, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely, as you start to learn, it is a bit of a challenge, but at the same time, it is a very good test of your skill. Obviously, if you're playing this vanilla, you have a lot of safety coming at this point, and even more safety you get in the dungeon. But it's actually a very nice test to end your NMG run.
Yeah, we won't see either of these players get it, but at a cost of around 15 seconds, you can get the red mail in the middle of this dungeon, which turns you from a glass cannon into just a tank.
Yeah, but and while it might be a nice safety to pick up, at the same time, what it will do one thing that you wouldn't expect, but it actually does this, is it will mess up your Ganon fights.
Yeah, it's pretty, well, I don't know actually how tight it is, but yeah, you can mess up the bats in your Ganon fight. The bottom of Ganon's Tower, Ganon's basement, I suppose you could call it. Although it's actually Ganon's first floor, because we enter on the second floor. We have to walk upstairs to the second floor, so it's not actually the basement.
Yeah, there actually is no basement in GT or Herod, for that matter.
Yeah, correct. It's sort of a maze, sort of a puzzle, but we know the solution, so we're just gonna run through it to the end.
And we see Buane dropping bombs, and that's just for some easier menuing later on.
Duck also nailed fast laser skip, by the way. So on Duck's side, he's coming up on Trinex here. He's going to be doing some strats where he saves a couple rod shots by doing poke dashes on the Trinex heads. So these are really difficult. They save about half a second on magic refill at the end of the fight. Duck doing the classic menuing as fast as possible for no reason when you have plenty of time to wait, and then having to remenu because he missed the block. See him here, he does 3 slashes and then uses the menu to time this poke dash. Then this one, I don't actually know how. Oh, we didn't quite get it. Got the first one though, saves the refill frames. Buane entering the climb. Mimics rooms, very difficult rooms. A lot of different strats you can do in here, none of them are easy. Buane picking some good clean strats, executing them really well. Doing his sort of custom spike pit strat that nobody else does.
He's down to 2 arrows, but he'll pick up a couple more in this upcoming room. Arrows are nice to have in the gauntlet just because they do help you take down some enemies.
Yeah, you really want one arrow entering the gauntlet, and you can definitely use more, but looks like we're not getting the kind of RNG where they're really important, so it's pretty good.
Duck is out of Turtle Rock, still about a 4-minute difference between these two. Ooh, Buane missed a fire rod shot there. But yeah, just one spin will take it out.
Yeah. If you miss, so fire rod shots and tempered spins do the same amount of damage to Landmo, so if you miss a fire rod shot, you really want to replace it with a spin, because your magic is very tight for the next few rooms. Showing off the alternate usage of the Cane of Samaria again, where the beams actually do damage. It's not just for hitting switches, it's also for killing wizrobes.
Yeah, this next room is where the magic is a little tight. He should have enough.
Yeah, if you're down any magic here, you have to do different strats, which is fine. They're slower, but it's okay. But if you need to do different strats and you forget and you do the regular strat, it becomes a disaster really easily. But no problems this time. Duck not getting spike skip, unfortunately. I love spike skip. It's a very cool strat, but pretty difficult. Buane has successfully dropped all of his bombs. Incredible. God Gaming. Coming up on our final refight.
Yeah, Buane's been playing very well overall. His only really big mistake in this run was back in Hera, where he fell down the pit.
Yeah, that was most of the time loss over his PB, just total, the whole run. He's now entering, well, he's entering the room before he enters the Aghanim fight, the Aghanim 2 fight. Many people's choice for most difficult fight in the game. It's a lot like the first fight, except there's 2 clones that always shoot reflectable attacks. Very nice triple. Let's see if we can get a 2-cycle. This is not an easy pattern to 2-cycle. But Buane is a gamer. Wow. Really nice.
That's a 2-cycle, and he is on his way to Ganon. Well, Duck just starting his climb.
Ganon fight. Really fun way to wrap up the run. There is some RNG involved in terms of how much Ganon feels like warping, and it's pretty easy to lose a few seconds on the end, but Buane has done this fight so many times that this should be pretty clinical.
Yep, the first cycle basically is almost always the same. Slightly different based on where he goes on the bottom, but for the most part, first cycle is the same. Second cycle, there's 4 spots where you can appear, and basically runners will know the strategy for all 4 spots. And then after that, it's just a little bit of RNG with these warps.
Being a bro so far, only 1 warp. Well, not being a bro anymore. Alright, 3 warps is not that bad.
Yeah, it's pretty friendly for warps.
We finish off Ganon. If you play this casually, you might expect us to use the silver arrows, but picking up the silver arrows takes so long that we just don't do it. You can damage Ganon by spinning him during this phase. Buane going for a cape spin. Oh, not getting it. He has a brief period before he warps where he's vulnerable to taking damage from the sword spins. Well, actually, you can do slashes too, but they do less damage. So you kill him with 12 of these. Oh, wow, Duck catching that 1 cycle ammo too. Very nice. And there we go. Buane finishing up with an official SRTV time of...
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well,
Well, it wasn't bad.
125.30.
they weren't very good,
It
though.
could have been a lot better.
I didn't
I hope we don't have his audio right now because...
We do have his audio.
Alright.
Boo!
Got some Muppets going on. Very nice run from Buane. Obviously the Hera fall is not exactly what you want to see, but the rest of it was pretty solid. Not a lot of big issues. He finished about 95 seconds over his PB, I think, which is about half of that was just from that one mistaken Hera. Oh no, Duck! He got the bad pixel. His bomb got stuck on the wall. I don't know if he'll be joining us for a race, for an interview or not. Oh, he says he will in a minute. Okay.
Okay. But yeah, the big difference between that is, like I said, the fall in Hero was a big difference for Buane. For Duck, the big thing for him was the rupees, unfortunately. He messed up the tree pool twice, and then when he went to get the Aga rupees, or not the Aga, the Saha rupees, he mirrored in the wrong spot and could not get back into his portal. So he had to run back to Hyrule Castle to get back to the Dark World and back to Pod.
Yeah, that was very punishing. He ended up with about a 9-minute Palace of Darkness split, which is 2.5 minutes longer than it should be. Let's see how his Aga 2 fight goes. Oh, very nice triple. Much more difficult pattern there. This should be a fairly easy 3-cycle though. Nice fight from Duck. Probably technically possible to 2-cycle that, but you can't really expect yourself to get every possible 2-cycle. That was not easy RNG by any means.
Yeah. You only have about a 50% chance to get a 2-cycle on a run.
Well, you only have about a 50% chance to have a shot at it.
That's why I said you only have about a 50% chance in a single run to get a 2-cycle.
Wait, are we... I think we're joined by Buane?
Hello.
Hey. GG. Congratulations.
Thank you. That was quite a roller coaster.
It was a pretty good run. I mean, the bomb jump fall in Hera obviously was really bad, but the rest of it was good, honestly. I'm sure there's things you would have been happier to go differently, but it was a good run.
No complain. It was fine, right? Like most of it was completely fine for a tournament run. I would take almost all of the splits in a tournament. Absolutely. Yeah. It rarely rose to the level of good, but you know, when when is it gonna do that constantly? The Light World was just like Escape good, Eastern abysmal, Desert very good, Hera abysmal, Agate Tower very good. I actually got really good RNG in this run, pretty much like the entire run except for Argus.
That Argus, that was not chill.
Yeah, that was a bummer. But like everything else RNG related in the run, honestly, was super friendly. So I don't have much to complain about there at all.
Yeah, I think that's also another place where we lost a little bit of where Duck lost a little bit of time. You had one blue ball. I think Duck got 6.
Yeah, of course Duck got 6, right? Every run is 6 for Duck. But yeah, I mean, I didn't deserve the one blue ball. I didn't deserve the lead out of Light World. And then I have no idea what kind of adventure Duck had in Pod. He was trying to tell me in the race room, and I didn't understand.
Okay, so he missed tree rupees, and then he missed backup tree rupees. And then he mirrored to Saha, but his portal was on a cliff. So it wasn't a mirror bonk, but he couldn't get back in it. So he had to go back to the bridge.
Oh no.
Yeah, so he entered Pod at like 240 on the timer or something. Like, it was a disaster.
Well, that explains why I couldn't really understand what had happened from his 2 lines of text. Yeah, just a nightmare Pod, unfortunately. Nightmare run, right? It happens to everybody. Yo, Duck, GG.
GG. So, yeah.
Seems like we both had fun there. It was...
That has fuck screen 2 on it, it's gone for it.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
Yeah. It's not any better the first time, man.
Just gotta get 2 cracks at it, I guess.
Yeah. The second one was fun. The first one, I don't even know how to I don't know. You would think I play enough rando that I would know how to put that warp down, but apparently not. I always put it too high in rando, so I'm I'm gonna put it low, that way I won't bonk. And yeah, the other bad thing happened. So
if you do it after you've re-entered the canopy area from the top, there's a little place you can walk down in the middle of the maze.
But then Kiki gets all screwed up if you do it up top. You have to go back for him, and it's weird.
Oh, I don't know.
So I don't know. It's. I mean, I lost 3 minutes, and it all stemmed from my dash being 2 pixels off on the bird, because the bird hit me, which means I had to. Well, then I had a dash, and I was trying to get a heart, and then the green guards are weird, so I got hit by them. So then I had to, and just kept spiraling out of control. I made other mistakes, but it's not stuff you really practice all that much, especially me being kind of out of it. So it just all spiraled. And then I bomb jump was weird. I guess I knew it was really far to the right, so I was trying to fix it, and then whatever. So I mean, Buane still either beat my PB or came so close to it. These right races are no pressure. It's Buane needs to have a bad run, which he had a bad run, but it still wasn't bad enough for me to legitimately beat it. And then I have to play nearly perfect. Yeah, he beat my PB by 14 seconds. So I still would have had PB to win this race. So and basically once Lambo happened, that wasn't happening.
Yeah, and then there was Aga, just to add to that.
Yeah, I mean 6 blue balls. So
Take it to the bank at this.
It's a classic.
Yeah, just I saw Cubs post oh, Duck's gonna get 12. I'm not gonna get 12. Have you been paying attention? It's 6. It's a 6 every time. I thought that might have been just an AD thing, but no, it's I got 6 last race too, so You know?
Speaking of AD, big shout outs to going for the Meyer bomb jump.
It's not even an AD anymore. It's not. It's dead tech. Like I'm so so sad. Like everyone grinded. Everyone except for this kid over here grinded the hell out of that thing, and then it died. Like I mean, Yuzu was completely destroyed. Like we can never have a tournament again. We just can't.
No, absolutely not.
With the new stuff, like, it'll be people going for the new route, and it's just like, does the person doing new route like beef the run or not? And that's it. Like that's gonna be the race. So like we had the tournament in the one brief glorious history in AD when it was like race friendly, and then it immediately got crushed. So I don't know, but any percent RMG tournaments looking a lot better now. So
I might actually have to do one run of that. Yikes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, these are, you know, like everyone in this game has gotten so good over the last year, and like especially like the top, like there's like what 5 or 6 123s now. Like
I think we're up to 7.
7? Yeah. Well, it's like, you know, Buane, I've had a race Buane in area. It's like, and it's like once you get to those low 124s, 120, like you guys are just so consistent. Like even when you make mistakes, you're dropping 125s. Like it's ridiculous. So there is a wide gap between like me and Buane, even more so than like me and like a 127 player. So like it's really hard to win these races.
Yeah, it's just hard to play with pressure too. Like I don't think at all in any tournament race that I've done in this game, I cannot have a clean escape in Eastern. I am constantly 10, 12, 15 seconds behind in either escape. Or like it's a nightmare. I don't know what it is. Like that's all my tournament nerves are right there in the first 2 splits. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I had a 53, and like you were still 3 seconds ahead of me, which was crazy. I was just like a 53 is like an escape anyone's gonna take. I'm like, oh, this is a really good escape. I look over and like you're walking at a sanctuary. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
But of
you should have seen his Eastern though.
Yeah, of course.
Well, his Eastern was fine. I just the red double readies, right? Was
if you could 2 cycle something in Eastern, I 2 cycled it.
We had some trouble in the big key room as well. It was not sub 11.
Yeah, not pretty at all.
Yeah, so I saw I was ahead after that. The wild thing, like I know I lost a little time on Unholy Spin Speed, doing it twice. But like once I got into Desert, like I was still ahead once I hit Desert, and like I thought I had a really clean like inside of Desert, and like we're dashing back across the left hand side, and Buane's a couple frames ahead of me. Like it's just like again, it's like with you and like Airy and Dow and Doom and like all you guys like. I'm still losing like phantom frames in that, and it's just like I was like, man, this is really clean. And I'm like, oh, and never mind. Apparently, I lost 2 seconds.
I was dangerously close in this run to having the Desert Torches time be faster than my Eastern Palace time, which is a good thing, but also not a good thing because that was a 13 torches. It was a really clean Desert, and I kind of choked a pretty easy 2 cycle Landmo, I think.
Yeah, like I think mine switched because like my count got all weird. Like I think I had a bunch of weird switches on mine.
I think your Landmo Buane was 2 cyclable, but I would not call it easy.
It was definitely realistic. I mean, I didn't even really have a chance at it the way that I did it, but it was a realistic 2 cycle pattern. So
yeah,
you don't like to throw those away. And I was 2 hours. It wasn't even like I missed by 1 arrow or 1 slash. I was 2 arrows off. So definitely a little. Not great there, because if I'd gotten a fast 2 cycle, that could have been like a nice gold Desert, which never happens. So, but yeah, the roller coaster of Light World was I kind of expected it, I guess, just not the way that it played out. Like usually it would be, oh, I lost 25 seconds in Desert, and then had a really good Hera, and then lost 25 seconds in Agate Tower. Like that seems more traditional than the way I went about it.
Yeah, how did you fall there? Like I looked over, I'm like, you don't fall there. That's not a place where you fall.
It was a really bad menu buffer. The menu buffer is really early, so I needed to move like 5 pixels up to get the bomb jump.
Oh, you missed the bomb. Okay, no, I looked over and I saw you falling on the 2nd floor, and I thought you just walked into the hole. I'm like, what the hell? Because I didn't think you were that far ahead of me.
Yeah, no, it was a bomb jump fail, and
okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, it's gonna still happen. Like I failed the early bomb jump about as much as I failed the bonk bomb jump, so I still that's my bomb jump. I don't go for a safer one in tournaments or anything like that. It's what I do, and it was just a bad shot at it. It was a poor attempt.
I didn't see your second Beatles, but was your second Beatles clean?
My second Beatles was really good. Yes, I got the warm up out of the way.
People got to see one Beatles done correctly. Good.
Yeah, the first one was like
It's a hard room, man.
Not even sure what happened. I went for I missed the slash. Better go for the backup throw. Missed that throw too. Tried to slash the guy down the hole. He didn't go down the hole, so that was a nice 5 seconds loss. I guess that's kind of like, at least because I failed the bomb jump, I got to do that room cleanly. So a little silver lining.
It's kind of funny when you slashed the last beetle, and then you just stood there because you expected him to fall in the hole, and then I don't have your cam or anything, but I can only imagine you were like, "Oh my god, what is happening?"
Yeah, that's usually those are the things that on the way from like 129 down to 124, you kind of get those out of your system. Like room recovery and mistake recovery are a big thing. So you can see, I messed this up, and now I'm expecting the room to go bad, and I know what to do. But there's still some rooms that go bad, and you're like, "What? I wasn't expecting that." Okay, I guess I'll keep slashing, and then you leave the room, and you're like, "Oh, I should have done this." It's so obvious in retrospect, but easy to panic, hard to play this game, all of the above.
Yeah, it was nice because you were far enough ahead of me that like when I messed up a room on restream, you were also messing up at the same exact time. Like I had a bad Beatles and I looked over, I'm like, "Oh, this is terrible." I look over, I see you slashing the Beetle 8 times. I'm like, "Oh, I guess it's fine." Like
there were a lot of slashes in that room.
Yeah, it's just
not the fastest way to get through.
I was like, "Oh man, my Beetles were terrible." I look over, and you're just going to town on this Beetle. I'm like, "Oh well, I guess it's fine." And that's why I thought you fell in the net, because I looked over, the next time I looked over, you're falling in the hole, and I just, like, it was the next room, effectively. I just, like, didn't piece together how much time was between those two. So, but yeah, I mean, honestly, like, the rest of my run wasn't, like, that bad. Like, my times weren't great, but I was obviously messing around a lot, like, going to the Myra bomb jump and that kind of stuff. But, like, it felt pretty clean. I had, the normal amount of mistakes and stuff, but...
Yeah, I think it was a pretty good run, except for the stuff with rupees, basically.
Yeah, I mean, that was the big thing, and then, like,
But that cost you 2 minutes, so,
Missed the zero cycle, I got iced on cold. Like, all the normal bad stuff happened, which is whatever. So, like... And it certainly wasn't a good run besides that, but, like, I still feel like I'm, like, de-rusting, and, like, big chunks of it at least felt fine, so... I think I got, like, probably a week before my next match in the losers bracket, so hopefully I can get a couple runs in.
Thank you for that wonderful segue. So you're now in the losers bracket. There's a couple matches that have to be played before you. The winner of TAM and Trinex will be playing against Ace Zero, and you'll be playing against the winner of that matchup. So you'll probably have a little bit of a rest period.
Yeah.
The winner, so Buane will be playing against me after I defeat Fricker on Sunday.
Oh, baby.
You mean you're going to lose and then we're going to play in the losers bracket is what you mean? For Battle of California.
Maybe. I don't know how long we have to go before we would meet up. I think it's...
if you lose the Flicker and then I went out and we play.
Yeah, actually, yeah. If Duck beats Ace Zero or whoever, and then you fall the losers bracket, but you win your game there, it would be Duck versus Bucks in the losers bracket.
That's possibility,
I became the fastest person in the state just by fiat of moving here, and then like you had to go and cut me, and it's very annoying.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's rude, honestly. So I got out of the gauntlet that was Florida for state supremacy. That's blunt down there, just holding down the crown. Like, not much I can do there. Somehow I moved to a more populous state, and it's like us. So.
Yeah, man, there's no players on the West Coast. Scheduling all these matches for this tournament, it's always like super inconvenient.
Yeah.
For West Coast times.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's been really helpful and whatever. I don't want to complain too much, but
I'll complain. It's fine. I mean, we have the async, so
yeah,
which is nice. I mean, again, like I've been saying this, like I had nothing to do with the format. Like I'm adminning this, but like Buane came to me with like he kind of like asked me like, "Hey, what about things?" And I thought there was a couple like weird things gonna happen. And I was like, "It's at least interesting enough that we should just try it." And like it's been great. Like it's I see us like if we're gonna do any more tournaments, I think we should run in this format with the asyncs and like the split bracket, because the split brackets or split groups like get you so many benefits that and like I think the fact that there were so many buys were just kind of a byproduct by exactly how many people we had and just kind of worked out. But again, like you had so it's not like the top players are just beating someone who's like 5 minutes slower than them in the first match and they're just out. Like everyone's got a chance in all their matches, and if they eventually they'll go far enough where maybe they're up against someone who's a couple minutes faster than them. But yeah, all of these matches have been really good. Like this one is terrible, but that's fine. It's probably like one of the worst ones. So
Well, you can take any complaints about how the race went to the complaints department.
yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm here for.
Duck has held down a very nice post there. No complaints have reached my ears, so he must be taking care of all of them.
Yeah. Well, again, being on the West Coast, by the time I wake I'm a night owl too, so by the time I wake up, like everything's been taken care of by like Sirius and Buane. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, nothing to do. So, but if anything ever happens at like 4 a.m. Eastern, then I'll be all on it. Just late night problems. But yeah, I mean, GG Buane.
Yeah, GG, dude. It's everybody has those nightmare runs, and outside of what happened in Pod, didn't seem like it was overall too bad of a run anyway. So
no, like I said, I was goofing about a bit too, and just like it's fine. Like I didn't get as much practice in the last break because I had some of the controller issues, and like this one's finally getting broken in, so I'm starting to get used to it. So hopefully I can get a little bit more practice in and kind of be more in game shape for the next couple matches.
Yeah, I know how that feels. I have not been able to play as much as I would have liked, and up until like maybe last week it was feeling pretty bad, and I've put a couple decent runs together in a row now, so I'm feeling kind of okay, but still looking at Airy and Doom and thinking probably not much of a chance the way I'm playing right now, but you never know.
Yeah, both you and Airy, I think I apparently have some sort of Hera curse on you guys because you both messed up Hera in our races, and then just you guys are so good. You're still coming in with 125, low 125s. So I mean, something can happen. It's NMG, right? There's
oh yeah.
Like all the again, like my run spiraled out of control because I got nudged by a bird. Basically, like it's just this minor thing.
It's a great little microcosm for how the game really works. Like one tiny mistake just spins off into this whole web of mistakes.
Yeah, and it's like so many other speed games. It's like. That's true to like Super Metroid or something. It's like, but then like it kills you and you're dead, and it's like, okay, I'm done. Like you're just done at that point. This game just lets you like sit on the hook. Like it just really like will just bleed you dry. Sometimes it's kind of funny from just from very small things. So yeah, been fun so far. So at least got me playing again.
Yeah, it's been great. I guess we can, unless anybody has anything else to say, I think we can throw it back to our restreamer.
Huh? What? There was a race? What?
No, there was not.
GG Buane, well done. Duck. Well, shit happens. You'll get him next time. There are too fucking many matches this weekend to even try to go into what's going on in the schedule. So please take a look at the ZSR schedule. There's like, what, 6-7 NMG races plus everything else. So there'll be plenty of Zelda content here for you. Big thank you to our two commentators today, Fox and JP, for allowing me to sit here and do nothing the whole time. Thank you. And please, again, go follow our runners if you're not already. Buane and Duck, both very well run, very good players in this game. And before I make a bigger fool out of myself, because goddamn I'm tired, we're going to go ahead and head on out for the night. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. And we will hopefully see you back here tomorrow morning. Till next time, have a good night.